Hey everybody, how are you? I'm just going to adjust this here. Happy New Year. Happy New Year for everybody. Getting off to a bumpy start, I guess. But still moving along. I guess we learned that last year. Um, I wanted to talk to you today about vision boards and a little feng shui flair that I always give to my vision boards, which I think really has the potential to make it more powerful and to make it more intentional and more deliberate. And also to make sure that you're kind of thinking about all the things that are within your potential. I think it's really easy for everybody to say, "Oh yeah, I want more money," and so their vision board is really full of pictures of money or things that are you can buy with money, and it's really easy to you know think about things that you want to buy or that you want to call into your life, but not necessarily thinking about the whole big picture. Hi Teresa, how are you? And so I wanted to share some of the ways that I have kind of integrated feng shui into my vision boarding practice. I definitely feel like um, because of feng shui, my home really is my vision board, and that's the way that I use feng shui in my life. I like my space to represent the things that I want and the potential that's there for all the things that I want to call in. But I still absolutely love creating those two-dimensional poster board vision boards, and even sometimes creating a digital board. So this is, let's see if I can get this under here. This is one of the vision boards that I made last year, and I didn't use the format that I'm going to talk to you about today. Um, this is actually one that I created that is small and that fits into my planner. And so I created it with the intention of it being portable and that I could stick it in my planner. And every day when I pulled out my planner, I could look at it and flip through and kind of visually see it and be reminded of the things that I'm focused on for the year. I don't have a digital vision board this year, but I have done it in the past. And you can use lots of programs like Canva or PicMonkey and probably even more to help you create a vision board that's digital and that is on your phone or on your laptop or your screensaver so that you can see it all the time. And that's really fun to do too, so that when you open up your phone or your laptop, there's kind of this like pop that reminds you of the things that you're looking for. And I think it's really powerful. I have, there's been years where I haven't done a vision board at all. And yeah, I think that my manifesting potential showed that as well. And I really find that the years that I take the time to slow down and think about what I want and what I want to call in and what I want to create and the change that I want to help facilitate in the world is powerful. And, putting it on paper, writing, whether that's writing it down or finding pictures that represent that, or creating a piece of art that represents it, or even just speaking it, right? Telling people that this is what you're calling in is so powerful. And, I've looked, sometimes in the past, I've kept vision boards that I had, and it was kind of nice to see things kind of check off that's like, oh, we did that, we accomplished that. I remember not too long after my daughters were born, we kind of went on this, like, I don't know, we were busy and we didn't have time to do vision boards, or at least we didn't make the time to do vision boards. And finally, in some women's group that I was in, we were encouraged to create a vision board, and I did that. And we hadn't been hadn't been focused on us, to be honest. We were really focused on the kids. And one of the things that I put on my vision board was, kind of a picture of a family kayaking. And it wasn't that long. It was probably a year or two later that we actually got family kayaks, and we spent a couple years going out and enjoying some outdoor time on the water with the girls. Eventually, we decided that that was a lot of work, and we got rid of the kayaks. But it was really fun, and we were able to check that off. So I do think that it's really powerful to envision what you want and to really magnify it towards you by talking about it and by focusing on it. And remember, wherever you put your energy and attention, wherever you put your attention, that's where energy flows. So if you're looking at this vision board that you've created and reminding yourself of the potential, you really have the power to call it towards you faster. And like I said, I use feng shui. I kind of mix the two together. And I use the Bagua map, so I'm just going to hold this up here for you for a second. It's so hard to get this in front of the camera. But the Bagua map is so cool, I think, in general, just because it already breaks life down into these fun 9 life areas, right? These important parts of all of our lives. And it's kind of like, I remember for me, it was kind of hard to think, if somebody would say, what do you want in life? I'd be like, I don't know. But then if somebody said to me, what do you want for your work? I'd be like, I want to work less hours. I want to make a difference. It was much easier when you gave me a category to focus on. And so using the Bagua map, first of all, to just take a look at these 9 life areas and think about what's going on for me in these different 9 life areas and what feels really full in my life and what feels like it needs work in my life. And for many years in some of my workshops, I've used this little pie, and this is used in a lot of different ways, but I call this like a life balance pie, and I like to draw it out a couple times a year. So it's a circle, and it's just divided into 9 pieces of pie. And each one of those pieces of pie becomes one of the 9 life areas. And so, if you think about your financial life, your visibility and how you're seen by others, your relationships, your creative endeavors, the support and adventure that you have in your life, your work life, your learning and your education and your growth in knowledge, your family and your health. Like, those are like 9 pretty big areas that that all play a big part of our general life. And I just like to kind of, draw that circle out and then color in the pie pieces, based on how full I feel like this part of my life is. So, like in relationships, for me, it feels pretty full right now, but there's certainly room to grow. And so, I kind of fill that in and color in all those 9 pie slices and see which ones are looking a little sparse. And I'm going to tell you, for me, I've been thinking about this as I was thinking about doing this, this talk today. And I would say probably out of all the life areas for me this year, this creativity area, am I on the right side here? Creativity. To me, that is, at least in feng shui terms, the creativity area, it can be related to children, and in general, it's referred to, or it's thought of as birthing new things, like birthing things that make you feel creative. So it could be birthing children, and that was a big area that I focused on when I wanted to have children. I would really put a lot of energy into the creative area of my home, and also just calling energy to that creative endeavor. Now that it's not about having children for me, it's really more about being creative and finding a way to express myself creatively, and also really about finding joy and pleasure. That's what it is about. Like, your kids bring you joy and pleasure, but there's a whole bunch of other things in life that can also bring you joy and pleasure. And for me personally, especially last year, a lot of those things, they just didn't get my attention. So that particular part of my life did not get a lot of attention last year. This year, it's definitely going to get a lot of attention. So anyway, go through, draw yourself a circle and divide it into 9 or these 9 different pie areas, and think about how rich and fulfilled you feel in each one. and color them in and see which ones have more of that white space open. And that might mean that you're wanting to add some more symbols and images of creating those things that have a lot more white space. Does that make sense? I mean, if you're, so for me, my vision board this year is going to have a lot more fun and playful pictures on it, and a lot more things that bring me joy. And I've really been thinking a lot about what things I want to add back into my life, or add into my life, or try or experience, that are things that have more of that fun, playful, joyful aspect to it, so that I can, fill up that pie slice more than it has been in the past year. And then another really fun thing that I like to do is this example that I showed you earlier is not done this way, but one thing that's really fun and can be a little bit more intentional is to actually, before you start playing with your vision board, is to divide it up into 9 segments, just like a Bagua map. And then you can end up having a corner. Sorry, this is really hard to do with this little screen, this little camera. You can have a corner. This corner can be related to anything that's about money, prosperity, abundance. And then this corner over here can be related to anything that's about love and relationships and partnership. The center, this is so hard. The center would be about, anything related to health and well-being and balance. And so when you start to go seeking out your pictures, maybe you're seeking a few more pictures and images, and you're getting more clear about what will bring you more fulfillment into those life areas that are feeling a little lax, I guess. And you can use the Bagua map and go to that life area. So for me, that creativity area I'll be filling out a lot of this one right here, which is the creativity area. I didn't write it in here, but it's underneath the romance area on the Bagua map. So I like to make my vision board a Bagua map, and I, really enhance it in that way, so that there's a wealth corner, there is an area that's about visibility and how I want to be seen or what I want to be known for, and then there's an area that's about relationships, there's an area about the things that really inspire me creatively, there's an area for travel and for other types of support and adventure that I'm calling into my life. There's definitely an area related to work, and I segment out the vision board so it's kind of broken out that way. And so there's kind of little, not exactly full squares, but in that vicinity, all the things to do with my work and with how what I'm calling into my work area, that gets put in that particular section of the poster board. And then you have a Bagua map. So when you're looking at your vision board, you are really focused on the different areas. It's very clear what they are. And certainly you can mix it all up too, like a traditional vision board, and just mix it all up any way you want to. But what I love about using or combining feng shui with it is that it's, first of all, it makes sure that you're not skipping something. Like you're really you're getting a very clear picture of what's going on in your life, and making sure that you're thinking about all the things and all the potential and all the places that you can really call energy into your life in particular. And I think by dividing it into that Bagua map and using the poster board in that kind of tic-tac-toe grid, and giving each life area its own little section, I really think it ends up magnifying it, in the same way that you can break your home into the Bagua map and magnify and call energy to your finances by giving that part of your home energy. I think it does that with the Bagua map as well. Any questions? If you guys have questions or thoughts on this, let me know. I would love to hear from you. And then the other thing I like to do once I have the Bagua map created is really to sort of use, to place it in my home in a prominent place where I'm looking to call a lot of energy. Or at least to put it in a place where I know I'm going to see it often and really be able to call to reflect on it often. So, this portable one that I created last year was really powerful because every day when I opened up my planner, it would literally like fall out and fall into my hands, and I would take a quick moment to look through all the things and be like, oh, that's right. And it almost like resets, on those moments where you're like, I got to get this done and I got to do that and I got to do this and this is going on and that's going on. It's almost like this, wait a minute, these are the important things. These are what we're really going for this year and in life. And, it gave me a moment to just kind of maybe cross off the things that weren't really going to make a difference in these things that I really wanted to call into my life. And then, so I put it in a place where it's prominent. I do have a bigger vision board that's actually in my bedroom that I see every day. And you can get really, really intentional and ritualistic about this. I think it's really powerful if you take a moment, like if you have a morning ritual or a morning practice or an evening practice before you go to bed. It is very magnetizing to, as part of that morning ritual, part of that, closing day practice, to take a moment to reflect on the vision that you've created and what you're doing and what you're calling in. And again, to put your attention there, because that is all part of calling energy towards you and calling energy towards what you want. I meditate almost every day. I wasn't so good at it this week, but so when I do that morning ritual, it can be very intentional of sitting down, writing, or lighting a candle, doing some meditating, taking some time to look over the vision board and think that through, and even spend a minute or two really visualizing and feeling how it's going to feel when all these things that are on the vision board are actually a part of my life, and doing that visioning process as part of it. To me, lighting a candle or burning incense or putting some flowers and almost creating an altar around the vision board are other feng shui enhancing steps that call energy towards this visioning process and call energy towards what you're calling in. And it can be really powerful towards bringing it in. Last year, around this time, I was running that. I ran a group program that was feng shui rituals for the new year. And this is one of the things that we did. We really set up an altar and called energy to call in what we want. And this vision board is part of that. It's such a powerful process. But it's not just, about putting it all on paper and then, forgetting about it and letting it collect dust. It's really about, taking the time and the energy and the focus and putting your energy and your intention and your feelings and your emotions there, in with the picture, so that you're helping to magnify the energy that helps attract these things towards you. So I hope that helps you. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and ask me. But I hope that gives you a little bit more of some ideas of how to use this vision board within your own life, and even how to combine it with the feng shui practice and the feng shui tools that we have to magnify it a little bit more and call even more of these things into your life, and be more intentional and more purposeful about what you're calling in and where you're sending energy in your life. And of course, the next step for me, aside from creating the vision board itself, and creating it in the format of the Bagua map, is then to take that Bagua map and that vision board and kind of recreate it three-dimensionally in my home. So, if I'm calling in some fun and some creative endeavors, On my Bagua map vision board, you know, I go and I look at the creative area of my home and I see how I can bring in symbols and representations of that fun and that playfulness into, especially into the creative area of my house or of particular rooms in my house. And even just, you know, throughout the house to remind me that, you know, fun, pleasure, joy, um, creative endeavors are really what I'm going for this year, so that when I'm looking around my space, I'm reminded of that. And it's another layer of sending that, magnifying the message of what I want to call in. And of course, to me, that's using my home as a three-dimensional vision board, which is really what, to me, the way that I practice feng shui. And if you missed it, in December, I ran a free webinar which was called Using Your Home as a Vision Board. I am going to be offering that again. I was going to do it in late January, but I've bumped it out a little bit. It's going to be in February, and I really encourage you to watch for that, because it's super fun way to look at your home and to use your home to help you attract more of what you want. So keep an eye on that. I'm going to be probably setting up the wait list for that program shortly on my website, and I'll announce it, and I'll of course be sharing about that when I'm getting ready to launch and run that program. But it's a, you know, it's a powerful program no matter when you do it. Whether you do a vision, you know, what I would recommend is that you do your own little vision board now, and maybe use the Bagua map to help you enhance that vision board or organize it so that it feels really purposeful and intentional. And then pop in and join me in February for that free webinar where we're going to talk about using your home as a vision board, because you'll have some really cool ideas about where you want to call energy into your life. And we'll be talking about how to use it, use your home to call that energy in. That's all. That's what I wanted to share with you guys. And I do have a few minutes to answer questions. So if you guys have any questions, excuse me, about this, what we've talked about today, or about feng shui in your own home, go ahead and type them in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. And just let me know. I'd love to know where you guys are watching from. Teresa, I know where you are, but anybody else, let me know. I have not done my vision board for this year. Like I said, this is from last year. I think I'm going to keep this. I was just typing, somebody had typed a response to one of my posts about talking about vision boards, and somebody had typed a response that they had a 5-year vision board, and but maybe that they, you know, seeing my post, maybe they would do another one this year instead of waiting so long in between. And I had commented back that I had also done a vision board last year, but I feel like it was, I don't know, I feel like last year doesn't count. Like a lot of the things on the vision board still feel very, very viable. Like they did not really manifest. And I think that's because so much went on hold during COVID-19 and during the quarantine, and still kind of feels like it's on pause. So a lot of the things that are on the vision board that I put last year still have a lot of potential, a lot of potential. All the things that were on there about travel definitely did not happen. A lot of things did happen, but yeah, there's still a lot of potential on my main vision board. So I haven't quite decided whether I'm going to do a new one again this year or not, because I feel like this one still applies. But I do feel like it's really powerful to kind of, you know, spend time on that and look through it, and maybe think about if there are some new things that you're calling in, or things to change. What's really funny is, like, I'm looking at this now. Like one of them says, I get to travel the world. That was funny. That didn't happen this year. One of them says Bali. I didn't get to do that for sure. One of the other things that's on here is Seaside Memories. And we actually, because we were kind of quarantined and we couldn't really travel far out of state, we went to Cape Cod, which is kind of beach area for us, a couple different times this year. So we did get a lot of seaside memories. And I was going through my pictures, my phone this year, and which is where all my pictures are, and there's tons of pictures from the beach. So we did get a lot of seaside memories in. Also, I have this really fun. Let's see, I had put these astrological signs like the Pisces and Capricorn and all of that on there. I can't even remember what you call them in real life, but astrological signs or the symbols of the of astrology. And I did a lot of astrology this year. I really paid attention to it, and I actually had an astrology reading done, which I've never had before, but I always wanted to, and so that came true. Definitely did a lot of mindset work that was on here. That was definitely required. And then the other thing that's on here is going with the flow. Oh my God, was that so needed this past year. So it's really fun to look at it and see what's manifested and what's come your way and what still needs to come. And like I said, I really feel like for me, what I love about feng shui is that it's always like an opportunity to check in and see what's going on. And I always remind people of this, but feng shui is never one of those things that's one and done. You don't go, and I mean, you certainly can. You go, think about what you want to call into your life, and you set up the Bagua map in your home, and you put enhancements in place to call energy to those areas. You set up your wealth corner, and you call energy to that. But it's all, you personally are dynamic and always changing. So what was important to you a year ago and what represented what you were calling in a year ago has totally changed, probably in some way, or evolved in some way. And so feng shui is never one and done. It is always something that you need to keep checking in on, and you need to maybe shift things and change things. And so this vision board is the same thing. It's like the very start of it, like checking in with the different parts of your life and what do you want to call in. And it's different this year than it was last year. So even though there's still a lot on this vision board that hasn't come to be yet, I would definitely do it differently this year. And there are different things that I would call in. And so I think it is powerful to do a vision board every year. And at least evaluate those 9 life areas and think about what's coming in. I was very, very strategic this year. I took about 2 weeks off, and I was really, like, I disassembled every feng shui cure and thing that I had in place to call energy to, no matter what it was. Like everything I broke down and I pulled down, and then I reset things and put things in different places, and I continue to do that. And I think that that's important to do. You can certainly set feng shui cures in place, but it's something that you need to check in with and evaluate all the time and make adjustments and changes to. And I did it on a major scale this year, that probably more than I've ever done in the past. So I hope that helps. I hope that gives you a little bit of inspiration for creating a vision board this year, or being more intentional about how you create your vision board, about really focusing on the different 9 life areas and thinking through which ones feel really full and which ones need a little bit more of a boost, and using your vision board to help fill those areas in by putting your attention on the vision board itself. And I would love to have you join me in February when I do my Using Your Home as a Vision Board webinar again, because it's a really fun, powerful way to play with feng shui for sure. If you're not already, please follow this page on Facebook so you get reminded when I come back. I'm consistently doing these Feng Shui Fridays. The times have jumped back and forth a little bit. Usually it's at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Fridays, but I had an appointment this morning, and so I had to switch things up a little bit. But if you are following me, the Facebook will usually notify you when I go live, and so that will be helpful. Happy New Year, everybody. Stay safe, stay healthy, be intentional with your life, and join me next week. Take care. Thank you for being here. See you later.